This week at Macy's, get great deals on fashion and home essentials. Update your wardrobe with 20% off new spring shoes and sneakers. And 20 to 50% off fresh looks for him and her. Plus, transform your space with Luxe Hotel Collection bedding, now 40% off. And Macy's Star Rewards members can earn on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees. More at Macys.com/Star Rewards. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Jennie Walker, and welcome to Closet Conversations. Today I'm going to talk to you about TheRealReal and a recent purchase that I made from them that turned out to be fake Moschino, and some damaged items that have come from them. Basically, I've had a bad run with them lately with damaged and things that are just filthy, dirty, nasty, damaged clothes, and my very first fake from them. So all this to say, I'm going to tell you what happened, but I'm going to preface it by saying I love TheRealReal. I love them. They're a wonderful resource for finding amazing things to wear, to resell, and you know, I used to own stock in them. I have since sold all of that because they just weren't they weren't growing exponentially the way someone like, say, Tesla is doing. But I just don't have the patience for what they're going through. And anyways, I want to tell you about what happened to me and how they handled it. And so all that said, I've been shopping with TheRealReal for a long time now, so I've seen a lot of different things. When you consistently buy from someone, you come to expect a certain level of service, and you know when things kind of go off the rails. And I've been shopping with them seriously for, 6 years now. And because I source so much from them, I'm a very large buyer from them, so I'm pretty sure that makes a difference, that when you have problems, they look to see, well, how often has this person purchased from us? What's their lifetime total? And I am absolutely sure that's to my benefit. But I would like to think that people who are first-time shoppers would get the same level of service that I did. So let's talk about it. So the fake. So anyone who knows me, who follows me on Instagram, knows that I specialize in Moschino, vintage Moschino. It's a brand that I've studied for years now, and I have one of the largest collections of vintage Moschino anywhere, with hundreds and hundreds of pieces sitting here in Pasadena, California, in my showroom. And I promote those and on Instagram, and I sell those and style with those, and sell them online. And I source them. 99% of my sourcing is done online, resource I can find online, including TheRealReal. And I have all the books, and I've studied the brand, and I'm always learning new things about it. But what happens when I source from TheRealReal is they do these 2 drops a day of new inventory. And if you don't subscribe to their monthly advantage, so that you can get 24-hour notice on new items and see what comes in first. And believe me, millions of people do. It's a line item in their revenues. They count on that money. You really will never understand the real power of what is on the site. You can never just go on if you don't subscribe to this and really get the real understanding of the wonderful things that are on there. And I've been subscribing to that. So what happens is that twice a day you go in for the drops, and I'm not the only one going in for the drops. People are, there are probably tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, who knows how many people are sitting there refreshing. They know they've got the stats waiting for those drops. So the drops come no different than a sneaker drop, but we're dropping vintage on TheRealReal. I go in, I look for my items, and I'm always in a hurry. I mean, pretty much you have to pick one brand to decide which one you're really most interested in, because once you go from one brand, you see what's new, you go to the next. By the time you get to the next one, whatever is good is already taken. It's sitting on hold. It's in someone's shopping cart, and you're not going to be able to get it. So always go to Moschino first. And sometimes I'm in such a hurry, I don't really look that closely at what I'm buying. Like, I'm going so fast. Click, it's a belt. Click, it's a whatever. Click, it's whatever. Oh, it's bold. It's vintage. Like, I can tell by looking very quickly what it is. So most recently, I was going on their shopping, and I just happened to catch a bunch of belts. And I'm very low on accessories with Moschino, so I've been looking to source more. And so I saw all these belts on there, and And I don't really like the leather ones, but I go for the ones that are chain and charm belts. So I went on there and I saw 2, and I quickly clicked on it as fast as my little pinky could get on there. Clicked it, put it in my cart, so another clicked it, put it in my cart, and off I went. So I went, and then I went through all the other things, and I went through all the, there's like 10 brands I look at each time, and I'd go through to see if there's anything else I wanted. So that shopping event, I found 2 belts, and that was all I was able to find. There was nothing else that I saw, or nothing that I wanted. And basically, I bought the belts. I did not go in and read the description, because I can tell from looking at the picture basically what it is. I know it's the charm belt. I know because it's vintage, it may have some scratches up to a lot of scratches. Either way, with the ones that I found, I'm like, I want it regardless. So I didn't really even read the description. So, and it's returnable. So that's part of the beauty. If you, I knew that no matter what, I could return it, right? So I clicked these 2 belts. One was a charm belt, and then another one was, I really hadn't seen this one before, but it was interesting. It was like a chain link, but it wasn't chain. It was some sort of woven, like plastic beaded material. It looked kind of interesting. So anyway, I bought the belts, and that was that. So they came in. I looked at them very quickly when they got to the house, and the one that I just loved the most, with all these amazing like smiley faces and hearts, was just incredible. I was just so excited. The other one, I looked at it and I was like, oh, all right, it's okay. But then I looked what I paid, and I thought, well, I didn't pay that much for it, so I'll just keep it. I didn't really even pay any attention to it, so I just stuck it aside. And these have been sitting on a counter waiting for me to do the professional photos that I do with the social media company I work with to get them up on Instagram. So the other night we were putting things in the light box, and I make sure they're wiped down perfectly, and I set how they're supposed to look. And I got to the charm belt. It was amazing. And then I got to the second belt, and I'm like, something's wrong. There's something not right here. And I was looking again, and I'm like, this seems a little off. Something seems wrong. So I started looking at this belt, and the charm, it was basically, if you've ever been to, say, an African country where they have these beautiful hand-beaded bracelets and things like that, those little tiny beads. So as I looked at this, it was these little, I guess, seed, you would call it seed pearl, but they're not pearls, but these tiny, tiny little beads that were woven on wire to make a chain link in like beautiful pastel colors like pink and green and yellow. And then there was this a heart charm, but the heart shape wasn't a normal. It was like slightly off. And then on it was engraved, and it said Moschino, cheap and chic. And then it said Afrikaans. And then you turn it over, and it said made in Kenya. I'm like, oh gosh, Moschino is made in Italy. Clearly this is something that's been engraved, poorly engraved, like the kind of engraving that you probably did on things when you were in junior high, back in the day, like really poor engraving. I mean, the brand logo was nowhere. Clearly this wasn't real. And I was so disappointed, and I just set it aside, and I'm like, I cannot photograph that. I can't even take the chance of it not being real. So I set it aside, and I'm like, I'm going to have to get in touch with TheRealReal and let them know. And I wasn't really worried about it, because even though I'd taken off the tag that says do not remove, you're not going to keep it, I know that if there's a problem, that those things really don't apply. And so I got back, took pictures the next day, and I just basically was really cool about it. I said, hey, I've been shopping with you guys for a long time. It's my very first steak, from you guys. I said, here's why, it's obviously cheap material. It's, this isn't branded the right way. It says made in Kenya on the back. Obviously, Moschino is not made in Kenya. It's made in Italy, and blah, blah, blah. So I sent them pictures, and I sent it to them. And so they got back to me and basically had credited already immediately the shipping on the item to my form of payment. They sent me a return label for free shipping. Then they sent me an email. Now, the email was pretty much a form email. In the email, they do not admit they made a mistake. I mean, it's all very legalese, but it's a form email, and I'll read it to you. And but they took it back, and so they did what they were supposed to do, and so I don't have a problem with it. I'm just my issue is how in the world did this get through all their authenticity their machine of people? Like, how did that happen? And what I do know from all that I can glean on my own from talking to other people is that the volume of what's going through there is massive. And we know from articles that have made the news and other reporting that has gone in the media, every single item is not authenticated. Every single solitary item is not authenticated. They authenticate a portion of them, or the ones that are most highly likely faked and things like that. But every single item is not authenticated. So that's how the fact that there's just so much volume and they're in a hurry. I mean, this is a publicly traded company. Investors are breathing down their neck, waiting for them to do a better job so their stock will go up, looking for returns, things like that. There's a lot of pressure when you go public like that. And you've taken money from other people waiting to see the returns, and things slip through the cracks. And for myself, but I guess the thing that bothers me about it is it was such an obvious fake. And it's obvious to me once I looked at it because I work with the brand. Now, if I didn't work with the brand, I probably might not have noticed. I might not have made the connections or connected the dots. But it's the most minimal thing in the world. We know that Moschino, certainly vintage Moschino, is all made in Italy. There are exceptions. There are modern pieces that are not made in Italy. And I've seen things made in India, and usually leather things because the leather is it's so much cheaper to make it there. But I have seen things made in India that were real. I have seen the random other place. But in general, it's made in Italy. That's part of the cachet. That's part of who they are. That's the brand heritage. So if you see something that's not made in Italy, you really got to ask yourself why. And you got to ask yourself, is it real or not? Because that is your number one tip, is that it's not made in Italy, doesn't have Italian sizing, something is off. So, so the person who looked at this, we don't know how this belt got to them. Did it come in with other things? A lot of times, I certainly see it in my consignment shop, people will drop in a fake bag among some real ones, try to, get you off the scent and things like that. But, what you're doing, it obviously doesn't work. So I went back to the photo listings to look at the description. Like, what did I miss? If I had taken more time, would I have noticed? And I realized looking at it that I would have had, they don't show you every angle. They didn't show me the back of the charm where I would have seen made in Kenya. That's not shown there. But the front was. And the front, I could have noticed if I was really, really looking very, very carefully, I could have noticed that the logo on the heart charm was off, that it was engraved in not the standard logo, that it was not a standard shape of heart for them, and that this word underneath sheep and chic was not anything that they'd done. I even went online to see, well, did they do a collaboration I don't know about? Was there some special thing they did with Kenya that I just missed, or, what is this? And I realized that there was nothing out there that was clearly a fake. So I'm going to read you what they sent to me. Just says, thank you for your inquiry. We're sorry to hear about your concerns regarding your recent purchase. Authenticity is the cornerstone of TheRealReal. We staff in-house professionals, including gemologists, horologists, art appraisers, and apparel experts that authenticate every item. Now, they're saying they authenticate every item. So I just said that they didn't. Well, clearly, if they are, they're not doing a good enough job. So anyway, it says all items are put through a rigorous authentication process by a team of experts guided by our Director of Authentication and Brand Compliance. Now, this is interesting because if you go back to when a year or two, like pre-COVID, a year or two ago, when all this stuff came up about their authenticity and problems they had, they did come out and say we don't authenticate every item. So now they've probably changed that. They've probably improved their authentication process and now have more people doing it. So that's fair if they're saying it now when they weren't before, that they are doing it now, every item. That's cool. I'm good with that. During this inspection process, we validate appropriate brand markings, date code, serial tags, and hologram stickers as applicable. Each item passes through our strict authenticity test before it is accepted for consignment. Okay, again, they didn't do it on this belt. Next, our authentication process is always evolving to incorporate new innovations and stay ahead of the latest developments and brands and counterfeits. We have deployed advanced artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning, ML, to support our authentication experts, including item risk scoring, in which we assess more than 50 data points on each item and consignor combination to identify points of risk, and item is valued by our authentication team. So that's interesting because those data points, that means like the person who sent it in, something could be off in those data points of who that person is and their address and things like that. Anyway, it says, we sincerely apologize for this inconvenience that may have caused you. In regards to your Moschino Sheep and Chic metal belt, we will create a return label for your item for a refund, which they did do. In a separate email, you will receive a prepaid label. Upon return, your item will be passed over to our internal team for review and reinspection. Now that is great. Now, I didn't realize that close before, so that's excellent. Should you have any further questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me at TheRealReal. Our main goal is our customers to be satisfied with their purchase. We would like to work on getting you there. Best regards. So that is interesting. So they're actually going to pull it out and take a look at it to see what's up. So that is fantastic. So they're going to learn by their mistakes. They're going to take a look at this belt, see what's wrong with it, and they'll, in theory, they will have known who processed this. So they could, in theory, go to the person who let it sit through and let this be a learning mode for them. So, yeah, pretty shocking to get it. I've never gotten any fakes. Again, around 6 years shopping with them, I've never had anything fake come through. And it's my own expert knowledge of the brand that would help me understand that, okay, these data points are off. They don't make belts in Kenya. The engraving's off, shape of the heart's off, the quality of the metal's off. Everything was off on this belt. I couldn't have seen that, all of that from the picture. And part of the problem that RealReal does is, they're always looking to save time and money. And they put up as few photos as possible on their items. And if they say there's a problem, they don't show you a picture of it. And that's one of the things that's hugely disappointing. And this is where we get to the things that were damaged that I bought from the RealReal. Again, volume. Again, they actually need inventory, and it's a push-pull. They need things to sell because they're trying to feed the beast. They need good branded things to sell. And they are always going to be faced with what to do about something that's designer but flawed. And they have this internal metric that they use to decide how bad off can it be and then still try to sell it. And I've seen enough things to learn that if it says something has a mark on it, it could be completely damaged. If it says it has slight pilling, it could be just ruined and have pilling all over it. I mean, this is, again, 6 years of buying from them. And to know that what they're saying, it's probably worse, okay? It's probably worse than what they're saying. Sometimes you get lucky, but generally I have discovered it's worse than what they're saying. So some of the damage they sent. So, again, since they take back things unless they're on sale a certain percentage and they're in the final sale category where you can't have a return on something because it's gotten too low when you bought it. Okay, most things I buy are never in that category because I'm buying things at the drops when they're full price. Handbags are final sale, but even then if you get something that's damaged or fake or whatever it is, they'll always, I can only speak for myself, they've always taken it back. So it's rare I buy anything in clearance anyway, but sometimes if I'm got a lot of time on my hands, I will cruise through every single piece of inventory of Moschino on that site, look around and find things in the clearance area that may have gotten missed by someone. And I found a jacket. I found this super rare jacket And I'm like, what is it doing in clearance? Because I couldn't figure it out, because it's one of the ones that's been featured in Moschino books. There's only like 4 Moschino books that have ever been made, and I have all 4 of them. And this one jacket from the 90s was in there, and I recognized it immediately. So I'm like, why is it in here on sale? So something's up. So I read the description. It says marks on sleeves. That's all it said, marks on sleeves. Didn't say what the marks were, just says marks on sleeves. So I'm like, okay, price is right, I'll buy it. Final sale, but, maybe I'll get lucky. So I get this piece, and marks on sleeve actually translates into the fabric had warped and bubbled at the seams, and also the marks weren't marks. They were faded where the color had bled off on each other. And so this jacket had like black and white and red on it. And so the black and red, I think, had bled into the white part of the sleeve. So it's damaged. It cannot be cleaned. It can't be fixed. It's ruined. So it's bubbled and ruined. And to me, they shouldn't be selling it. I know why they're tempted to sell it, but they shouldn't be selling it, and certainly shouldn't be saying there's a mark on sleeve when it's actually damaged. And how they don't know that that's damaged, or how someone is thinking that that is sellable, I don't understand. Because it's clear, as someone who's worked with this brand, that this is not coming off. This is not something to be dry cleaned. This is permanent. The color has run and bled, right? That is not fixable in any way that I am aware of. And even if it is fixable, I don't want to be the one to do it. That's not my skill set. So I was really disappointed, and so I sent pictures, and I sent it back to them. And I was only concerned because it was a final sale item. Normally I would just dump it in the box and not worry about it. But so it's final sale, so of course. And when I asked them, I said, well, not only do I want to return this, I would like you to return my shipping, because that's the big thing for me that I've learned. And I didn't used to ask for this. But if something's ruined or damaged, yes, they're going to send me a label to return it for free. But I also want my original shipping reimbursed if it was a one-off purchase, right? So I don't want to be penalized $11.99 because they sent me something that was ruined that was their mistake. So I have learned to ask for that. And they always grant it, and they seem very happy to do it because they just want you to be satisfied so that you will buy some more. So this vintage jacket, I was all prepared to send it back, everything. So then some new orders came in from them, and I got this big batch of things that were just horrible. I mean, I was shocked. But one was, it said, I went back and I read the description, and it was a white and red, like stretch cotton top that had this beautiful red star on it, and then like red squiggles all over this thing. It was Moschino. It has yellow pit stains, like right up under each arm. And I went back and I read the description, and it said, excellent condition, no visible signs of wear. And I'm thinking to myself, no visible signs of wear, and there's yellow pit stains under each one. And I'm just like, okay, that's going back. No, I took pictures, but I didn't send it to them. I didn't need to complain about it being ruined. I'm just like, it's going back. Another thing, the super rare, wonderful suit. This thing was nasty. It had spots all over the skirt, all over the jacket, and the true test of something as clean as when you flip the collar up on the jacket and see if it has a ring around it or not. Filthy around the collar. The brand tag was nasty. And I'm like, and it was really, really worn. A lot. I mean, if it were like new condition and it had this stuff, I would have happily taken it to the dry cleaners. But because it was really worn out and was filthy, I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Even at the price I paid, which was not much, I'm like, I don't want it like this. This is horrible. I'll wait for something better. Threw that in, ready for the box. And then something else that I bought. It was Alice and Olivia for Basquiat, the collaborative piece. It was this long sleeve stretch jersey top. This thing looked like it had been worn 100 times. And I'm just like, and I looked at the brand tag, it was all worn and nasty. I'm like, this is just completely worn out. And I thought, for me and what I do, this is not in good enough shape, because I'm not buying that to wear it. I'm buying it to sell it, right? So put that aside, do that in. So I sat there and I was thinking about this really bad run, and it doesn't stop me from shopping with them. It doesn't stop me from going on twice a day and looking for drops, it doesn't, it's disappointing, but it doesn't going to prevent me from shopping with them, because there's so much that I find that's fantastic and so much that I get at a great price. It's amazing, that's rare, and that's wonderful, that problems aren't going to stop me from shopping with them. But what it does do is really make me disappointed, and it makes me a little frustrated. And I don't know where that leaves them as a company, but I think that's something that they've got to find a way to address. And I know how hard it is to turn stuff away. I have to deal with this every day in my consignment shop. People present you things, and, you know, you do your best in a quick first look to figure out if anything's wrong with it. And things do get missed, things I don't see until I'm getting ready to list it on eBay. And then I'm like, oh, no, that's got to go. But quality control is a huge part of retaining your credibility in the resale market, because I can guarantee you that no matter what you're presented, there's always something else. And if you just wait for it, right? If you wait for it, you'll get what you need. But it's hard to wait when you're under pressure. It's hard to wait when you have to push inventory through the system so quickly. And TheRealReal is known for not selling it quickly. They sell it literally instantaneously. Why? Because it's underpriced. And that bigger issue with TheRealReal and the problems that they have, and that people don't get enough for their things. I will do a separate podcast on my most recent batch of stuff. I'm just getting nothing. I have to laugh. I do. I just have to laugh, because every time I get exhausted from listing for my own store, I'm like, I'll just send it to TheRealReal. And then when I get so little for my stuff, I'm just like shaking my head going, it's just, I know too much about this industry to be satisfied with getting $14 for anything or $20 for something that I know was underpriced to begin with. So that's a separate podcast. But for now, TheRealReal did sell me disgusted, damaged, ruined clothes. Another jacket I sent back. Yeah, this one, what got me about this one is they reposted on the site. Because you when you're on it every day, like this one striped jacket where the colors had bled on it, they literally went right back up. And I'm sure the next person bought it. And, you know, I find that that's kind of intriguing. So, again, they got too much volume, too much going on. As a matter of fact, I saw two things. The two things I had returned were both up there. The Alice and Olivia shirt had just, I guess, I saw it posted again. It just immediately sold. You see, they don't know yet how bad off it is. And the jacket that I had returned, one of them, striped jacket, it got reposted and sold immediately. So that'll be getting returned again. So I've all turned a lot. There was one jacket I was watching on there, and it was a Moschino jacket. I'm like, it looks kind of good in the picture, but I'm not sure, and I missed it. And I clicked to notify me if it gets returned. So then I got notified it was, and I thought, well, maybe I'll buy it. I didn't buy it. Someone else bought it. I clicked, and then I got notified that it literally got returned 3 times. And I'm like, So I bought it one of the times, and then I got it in the flesh, and I'm like, no wonder everyone's returning it. This thing in person is awful and does not fully reflect in the pictures. And so I sent mine back, and I mean, eventually someone kept it, but you know, there's a reason if something's getting returned. So anyway, all that said, TheRealReal, you know, they have got to do a better job in authenticating. They, however, are not criminals. The people who are sending the fakes, those are the ones that they aren't doing the right thing. They are the ones who are the criminals. They're the ones who are sending things that aren't authentic. Maybe they don't know it's not authentic in some cases, but in the cases where they do know, they're just trying to see if they can get it through the system and get it sold, because they're dealing with so many people. And they have to find a way to combat this happening. And it sounds like they're doing more than they ever have before. Still not doing enough, because I know a fake just got through. I haven't had one in 6 years. They did the most that they could humanly do, which is to take it back, refund everything, and apologize, though they did not claim that they did anything wrong. They never said, yes, it's inauthentic. They're basically, again, if you go back to that letter saying we're going to re-examine it and see what happened and la, la, la. So they're doing as much as they can do, and I think that's fair when it happens, but they have got to do more on the front end to make sure the stuff doesn't get through. And certainly I would be happier with fewer things that were in better condition. And again, as someone who consigns with them, they have no problem sending things back, because they will send it back to you if it doesn't meet their standards. So what happened to their standards, right? So, yeah, so that's where we are. Now, if I had to come up with a solution, I think they should have a whole separate division for things that are damaged, that are sellable, that are damaged, that they get in their possession, right? You're not going to go out and seek something that's designer and damaged, but you're going to come across it in the course of all of this. And maybe they had a section that's called, I don't know, problem child or something. And, or like, like in the Island of Misfit Toys that they have, like at Christmas, but everything that has a problem in one section. So when you go in there, the leather strap is broken. It's Moschino, but, this thing is bleeding in the sleeve, because there are people who would want it. There are people who know what to do with that. Sometimes people buy things just for buttons and things like that, or to fix something else, but you got to separate it from the good stuff and find another way to deal with it. And that's it. My hope is TheRealReal will continue to grow and evolve and do well. I love shopping on their platform. I do not like consigning on their platform, but I do like the fact that they're doing everything in their power to make right a situation when it's wrong. So we will see what the future holds. I think the future is going to hold a lot more for TheRealReal. I think they'll continue to grow. I think that their stock has been up more lately than it has in a while. I think that investors are going to give them more time to get things right. They're still expanding. They're still trying to roll this out, and I'll be right there right with them, shopping along the way and helping the world be more sustainable by getting things through and out and back into the world. And yeah, I like what they're doing. I love that consignment and reselling is now the new retail, and I love being a part of it. And I love having you listening to me on Closet Conversations. If you like our rating, a thumbs up, a ranking, subscribe, do all of those wonderful things. It helps get the word out on this podcast every time there's action like that. If you'd like to be in touch with me, you can always go to my Instagram channel, JennieGirl's Closet, and be in touch with me there. I read every email that comes through. And that's it. This is Jennie Walker with Closet Conversations. I look forward to having you with me on a future episode.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This week at Macy's, get great deals on fashion and home essentials. Update your wardrobe with 20% off new spring shoes and sneakers, and 20 to 50% off fresh looks for him and her. Plus, transform your space with Luxe Hotel Collection bedding, now 40% off. And Macy's Star Rewards members can earn on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees. More at Macys.com/Star Rewards. Savings off sale and clearance prices, exclusions apply.